Hi, this is Mike Palmer from Mike Palmer Homes. We appreciate you visiting our site. I wanted to make another video here of a house that we're working on. One of the purposes here is to help give public some awareness of some of the different factors we look for as builders and some of our thought process as we go through this. Anyway, this house here, one thing I want to point out is I really love the framing job these guys did, especially with the house wrap. So many times I see that the house wrap, because they're up on ladders up in the gable, they put it on there crooked. That's one of my peeves. It just doesn't look right. It works just as well, but it just sets a bad precedent. So I'm really happy when they put it on straight. Try to stress that. Anyway, if you look at this house from left to right, you see that the garage is on the lower side of the house. Typically, I always put the garage on the higher side. That's your basic rule of thumb, for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you put your garage down in a hole, there's more steps to get up. It's harder to get up into the house, and you have to carry groceries up more steps, and that's your most commonly used path of travel. Also, in the front yard here, the water flows across the front. Once you build your driveway can act as a dam, and you can have water flowing over your driveway or standing water in your yard, two things you don't want. But we chose to do it this way. We really didn't feel we had any choice for a number of reasons. Number one, next door neighbor's garage is right there. So if we put this house's garage right there, they'd be living right on top of each other. It would really hurt the privacy. Because on the house next door, their garage is all on the opposite side. So this was, for the comfort and privacy, this was the best option. Also, with the water flowing downhill, okay, well, we have a storm drain already built into the property. So there's not going to be any problem with standing water. Also, if you notice, the back of the lot is higher than the front. So we were going to have some extra steps in the garage and have to do a landing anyway. Typically, I like to do 2 steps, so then it's easiest to get in there. But that really wasn't going to happen here anyway. And also, with all the other things considered, we figured this was a concession that was willing to make, because otherwise they'd have been living right on top of their neighbor, and it really would have been awkward every time you open your garage. Also, there were a couple other factors in there that weighed into our decision to do that. Number one, our crawl space access door. We really can't make it any smaller than that. And if we made this foundation a block lower, your crawl door would have been down below grade, and we would have had to build a little well here. And you can do it, but it's really not ideal. Something we didn't want to do, and it increases more probability of water getting in the crawl space over time. Also, up on our high side, you see how high the foundation vents are? If we'd have made this another cinder block lower, that would have been down, the vent wells would have been down in the dirt, the crawl space vents, and you had to put vent wells around them. Once again, you can do it, but if you minimize everything, once again, you increase the odds of getting water in your crawl, and you make it really difficult for the workmen to work. And when their face is right up against the floor joists, it's harder for them to do their best work. Also, your back porch, we're going to pour concrete here. That would have been down in the mud as well. Something that we didn't want to do. Now, typically, when we have the back of the lot is up high like this, we pour a concrete slab here. Otherwise, you have a deck that's just a few inches off the ground, which you can get standing water and have issues with it. And also, concrete is less maintenance than a wood deck. A lot of people are preferring that, so we always try to do that when we can. We fill it with gravel right off the bat, and we do set our rough grade before we start framing. Because if you don't do that, then you have lumber in the way and dumpsters, and you can never get your rough grade till the end. And we like the dirt to settle and do everything it's going to do, so that there's minimal work to do at landscape time. We also put hay and straw around our foundation, wheat straw. That keeps the mud from splashing up on the foundation. Now, it's not as crucial on this foundation because we're putting stone and parging around it, so you're not going to see this. But all my workers and subcontractors know I want hay around the foundation. I don't want to see that mud on there. We can't keep it all off, but we do the best we can, because once that red stain is on there, it's pretty difficult to get off. Anyway, a lot of times with these grading factors as well, you can cut and fill the lot and sculpt it, but this is a septic lot, so we really have to keep the soil virgin. We can alter it a little bit, but we really can't dig too deep like you can when you're on a county water and sewer lot. A couple of other factors to point out in this house. a doorway. We always put a 3/4 inch board here. That lifts your door up when the door is installed, and so it's flush with the hardwood floor. Otherwise, if you had a floor mat, you open your door, it's going to scrape against the rug and peel it up, and that's really not fun to live with. In our master bathroom, put this here, because there's a fiberglass tub going in here, and this is called T-ply. T-ply, what that does is that we put insulation back behind there before, and we seal it in there with foam, insulating foam. That keeps cold air from getting underneath your tub. If you put your tub in first and try to get the insulation in there afterwards, it's really difficult to get it to seal, and you can't get this over it. This makes it much more energy efficient. We have our supply line for our shower head in this wall here. You can see we put pipe insulation on there. It is on an outside wall. You want to make sure in a cold snap you don't get any freezing. It's extra protection there. But we put our temperature control on the other side. Typically, if you have your temperature control right under your shower head, you have to get in the shower underneath the water to turn it on and get it to the temperature you want. Over here, you can set the temperature however you want, and stick your hand under there. Once it's nice and warm for you, then you can get under the shower. So that was a feature we did just for this customer, make it more comfortable for them. Anyway, once again, all the penetrations through the floor. That's a fireproof foam there, sealant. Event of a fire, if it acts as a fire block, prevents airflow coming from there. Once again, insulated supply lines on the outside wall, just to assure that there's no freezing. But I really like the job that these framers did. You can see it's all nice and neat. We have all their hurricane ties in already, all the wind bracing in. And right here, this is a really nice detail. You don't see too often. Now, it's really not something that shows, but the way this structural beam fits in this joist hanger, well, it always comes down. It's a little bit lower, and it's one more bump to deal with sheetrock. They actually shaved a little bit off of there and tapered it, so it's a nice smooth fit, and that's a detail you don't see very often. So I was really pleased with it. Our fireplace. This is a floor-to-ceiling fireplace. I always try to put a hearth on there when I can. Now, this is going to be wrapped in stone, but a lot of times people will drill through the stone and hang TVs and hang pictures, etc. I like to put plywood on there instead. You can put the stone over sheetrock. I really don't like to do that, because if anybody screws through there, they don't have to find a stud. They have always got some wood back there to catch a screw. That just makes it stronger. On our roof rafters, extra 2x4 added. We call that block a lock block. That just gives us extra depth, so we can put our R38 insulation in there and have enough room for an air baffle to make sure we get proper ventilation in that space. In our mudroom laundry area, once again, we pack the doors up 3/4 of an inch, so if you have a welcome mat or a rug, it won't catch when you open the door. In the laundry room here, we have a double wall here. That is because we're putting our circuit breaker box here, and that goes a full depth of one of these 2x4s, and if you put that in there, then you can't get insulation there. You end up with a cold spot. So with this double wall, it gives us more room for our plumbing and allows us room for that circuit breaker box. And it also makes it easier for the electricians to run their wires through the floor, and it makes less work on them. So that's something we always try to do. Right here, this is going to be a mother-in-law suite. Oh, we put the tub here. This was not on the plan, but we added a transom window just to get some extra light in here. It's always nice to have some more natural light in the bathroom. Right here, this is a little mudroom area where we normally put what's called a drop zone as a bench, but since the mother-in-law is going to be living in the bedroom, kind of having her own space, they're going to put a little kitchenette here. They're going to put just a microwave and a coffee machine, a little counter, so she doesn't have to go into the family's room over here. And the dining room, we're doing this more and more and make the dining room kind of a flex room. We're going to put a door here so that you can leave the door open, act as a dining room, or you can close it and kind of it can be a den. And we're going to put big double glass doors here so you can close them, kind of make it a den or an office, or open it up and use it as a dining room. So it's kind of functions as both. Right here is going to be where our permanent stairs are. Now when we frame this, they come and measure, and now the stair manufacturer is making it custom to fit this space, and then we're going to frame a wall under it. So we'll have a closet underneath the stairs and a cold air return here. Go up our temporary stairs. I'll point out a few things on the second story that we'd like to do. This is our attic access. We're going to have pull down stairs here. we're going to have an air conditioning unit here. That's what this big platform's for, so to put the air conditioning unit and so men can work up there if you ever need service on it. We have a unit on the second story and the first story because the upstairs thermostat can never know what's going on downstairs and vice versa. That way you have 2 units, so that gives you much more comfort. It's the only way it's ever going to work right. In here, this is our attic access. All my framers are taught. Take the extra plywood, make a nice big storage area because people tend to love that attic storage. And I like a nice full-size door whenever possible. Sometimes we can't do it, but I don't like going through that little short door and bumping my head. This here, the reason why these are drains for the Jack and Jill bath. Why this is so long is because this is the highest spot in the house. They always run one longer. They fill it up with water so the building inspector can come in here. They have it all sealed off to check for leaks. So they fill it up with water. If there are any leaks, it would drain down, but it has to be full of water when the building inspector comes. Here in the bonus room, showed this on every video, I'm sure, but we had a nice big dormer here, so you don't have that bowling alley kind of tunnel feel, and it also brings much more light, so it makes this room, changes this bonus room, makes it feel a whole lot bigger. And when we can, we like to put a closet in the bonus room so it could be used as a bedroom, or you never have enough closet space. Well, this front bedroom, once again, we have a full-size door here for your attic storage, and we use this space here. They put angle braces here. We're probably going to have to take those out, so that we'll probably just move them to the other side so they can use this as some good storage space. Anyway, those are some of the features we have in our houses, and those are some of the thought processes we go through as builders. One more thing I'll show you. A couple more things that we do. Back when I was younger, we used to frame differently, but now we put blocks here so that the way that this wall ties in here, so you can get insulation behind here, and that's part of the new energy efficiency. Also on our corners, we don't do the typical corner posts anymore. We do what's called California corners, so we can get insulation back there, and you get a tighter seal and better energy efficiency. And over here on this tub, this is called T-ply. This product here. Okay, put insulation up there, we seal it in with foam that runs all the way down behind the tub so that you don't get cold air coming in your tub from this uninsulated space. In the back here, we have insulation in here, but once we insulate this, all these walls are called cold walls because they go to unheated space. So these cold walls get covered with the same material, with T-ply or plywood, so that they form an air seal. So this is sealed in so you can't get cold air blowing up from your ventilated soffits and coming in here, and that's part of the new energy code as well. Anyway, so again, thank you for visiting our site. If you have any questions for us, please call us at the number below.